Morning, y'all. It's Rogue Pastor. I'm jumping on here, bringing you this week's devotional reading. It says, "The letter kills," and we're reading from the Word Tree Brothers devotional. All right. So, scripture comes from 2 Corinthians 3:5-6. Let's get into that. "Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think of anything as being from ourselves, but our sufficiency is from God, who also made us sufficient as ministers of the new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life." Let's get into our devotional. The subset of Pharisees most often mentioned in the Gospels are the ones who wielded the law like a scythe to cut down those who didn't follow every jot and tittle. Of course, no one could obey the letter of the law completely, which is why Christ came, to fulfill it. Modern-day religious experts still demand such obedience, though they pick and choose which laws are okay to be discarded. Many see it as a noble duty, a supreme calling from God themselves, just as Paul no doubt did at the stoning of Stephen in Acts chapter 7. But look at these glorious words from Paul, whose writing often wavers between his rigid religious training and the wonderful new freedom of Christ. He tells us our sufficiency, our enoughness, doesn't come from straining to follow the letter of the law. He doesn't even say we are to follow the spirit of the law. He says our sufficiency, our adequacy, comes from Christ. Not only that, he reports that God equips us to be ministers of the Spirit. Jesus doesn't make us sufficient so we can be law wielders, for Paul tells us the letter kills. When we wield the law as many of today's religious experts do, using it as a weapon, it is an instrument of death. Christians aren't supposed to be death wielders. We are called to be ministers of life-giving spirit. Quote from Thomas Merton: "The dying thief had perhaps disobeyed the will of God in many things, but in the most important event of his life, he listened and obeyed. The Pharisees had kept the law to the letter and had spent their lives in pursuit of most scriptural perfection. But they were so intent upon perfection as an abstraction that when God manifested his will and his perfection in a concrete and defined way, they had no choice but to reject it." All right, siblings, so when we read in our devotionals, we read that Spirit through Christ was given to us to wield, not the letter of the law. And far too often in today's form of Christianity, we see those still trying to wield that letter of the law, still trying to throw down that letter of the law while they pick and choose, just as those scholars do, which letters of the law they want to pick and choose and use to deem condemnation and death upon others. And they use vile language like demons, imps, etc. to attack those that they don't like with that rhetoric. As we look forward into the form of Christianity that comes through Christ, which is a form of love, acceptance, we see that we truly got a new life with Christ, giving his life for all. Not just those that want to wield the Bible word for word and laws as they cherry pick them out, but for all of mankind, for all of us who stand and say we are Christians together. Whether black, white, Asian, LGBTQIA2S+, and so forth. It does not matter your race, nationality, your gender, your sexual identity. What matters is whether or not you believe in Jesus Christ and how Christ came to this world. For that, if you call yourself a Christian, if you claim Christianity, That's what matters. And trust me, I know plenty who don't claim to be Christians anymore, and the reason why is because of those that use the law to condemn. Let's be better than that. Let's get New Hope Rising together, and let's spread love, light, and kindness into this world. I wish you all a beautiful and wonderful Sunday, and again, let's get New Hope Rising together. Go in peace and have a wonderful day.